Hello and welcome to the Living Up podcast with me, George Swift. I'm here to give you the inspiration, the motivation, and to challenge your aspirations to take you and your business to the next level. Don't forget to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for personal development, entrepreneurial development, and business growth content. And of course, subscribe to this podcast and never miss an episode. Today, we are talking about maximizing your 3 core resources. As a business owner, you have access to 3 core resources and you want to make sure that you are getting your biggest bang for your buck. Those 3 resources are money, time, and energy. And you only have a limited amount of all 3. And therefore, you want to make sure that you are prioritizing in the right way and you are focusing those energies, that time and that money in the right way to give you the best possible results. These 3 things, money, time and energy, are the 3 things that are going to give you everything that you want out of life. How you apply yourself over time, how you use your time, what you do with the energy that you have and where you invest your capital is going to be absolutely the making or the breaking of your business success. Here's the thing, depending on where you are at in your personal circumstances and depending where you're at in your business circumstances, your current business growth journey will depend on what you have access to, in what quantities, and therefore it may change how you apply each of these core resources. As you evolve as a business owner, as your business evolves, you may find that you have to redistribute these things as well. The bottom line is this, you only have so much money, therefore you need to make sure that you are prioritizing where best to invest that money. You only have a certain amount of time, prioritize where you invest that time, and you only have so much energy, so you want to prioritize where you invest that energy. Typically, maybe when you start up, you're a younger business, you're not yet really turning over a decent revenue. Typically, you don't have access to money. And a lot of business owners, a lot of people, in fact, use money as an excuse for not being able to do certain things because they can't afford to implement a strategy or to pay for adverts or to hire staff or whatever it might be. And what they say is, I can't afford that. It's all right for you, you've got the money. It's okay for you, you've got that. Here's the thing though, if you haven't got money, you have to utilize your time and your energy in a way to get the result. What happens typically in business, you start off, you don't have much money, but what you do have is an abundance of time and energy, okay? You have no clients, there's no one to serve, there's nothing to do, you have time and you have energy, and then what you do is you prioritize how you use that time and that energy in order to take yourself to the next level. Then what happens quite often in business is when you start to become successful, time starts to become the commodity that you have least of. So you start to make some money, you have money now. Hopefully you've still got some good energy going on. However, your time now is starting to shrink. So the less you have of something, the more you must plan and prioritize how you use it. So at the beginning when you didn't have much money, you need to really make sure that the money you do have works for you. When you start to make more money, of course, you still want to get smart with your money. You still want to make sure that it's returning for you. However, it's okay then for you to start investing more money. You can start to speculate a little bit more. However, when your time starts to run out, you want to make sure that you're only putting your time into those things that are going to give you those biggest returns. So you have to be really tight, really stingy with your time. Be super focused. Make sure you're setting your goals. You've got your plan, you've got your strategy in place, and you're really disciplined with your agenda, and make sure that you only put your time into those things that are going to really return the greatest returns. The next thing happens typically in your business. You then start to burn the candle at both ends. So now you're starting to make some money. Your time is almost completely getting eroded. So now you have to start working evenings. You have to start working weekends. You're trying to catch up all the time. Maybe you even skip a holiday or 2, okay? You start getting up earlier, going to bed later, and your energy then levels start to dissipate. So maybe, for example, then your money now, hopefully if you've done your business right, you should now be making some half decent money, but your time has been all but eroded and your energy is starting to wane. So here's the thing, if you don't redistribute how you implement these core resources, what happens then is you may end up burning out, okay, because your energy runs out. You may end up capping out your business because you have no time in order to really grow the business and everything else. So you end up getting caught in that that trap of just maintaining the status quo, maintaining the business you have, so your business caps out, and you may have a chunk of cash potentially sitting in the bank. Obviously, how do you solve your problems when you have no time and you have no energy, but you have money sitting in the bank, you have money coming in? How do you solve your problems? You solve them with money. So at the beginning, when you set up your business, you have to solve your problems typically with time and energy because you don't have the money. Then you start to get more successful. And typically we've learned to use our time and our energy. So we just use more time and more energy, more time and more energy. And we have to then evolve as business owners where we start reinvesting the money back into the business. Now, this can happen to a business owner at any point. But normally what happens is they get fried. And we had this just the other day in our Extreme Growth Masterminds. This lady, she's running a multiple six-figure business, okay? She's doing 300 grand plus turnover. And she hit this real problem over the summer holidays. Her staff were on holidays and stuff like that. She was busy and she couldn't grow her business because she was physically maxed out. She didn't have the time and she was fast running out of the energy in order to continue to grow and develop her business over the summer because she was running around basically covering, the summer holidays and stuff like that. And it came out of our mastermind, it was really simple, which is, but you've got money. I mean, she said, because someone actually said to her, she said, well, it ain't all bad. Tell me some stuff that was good, because she was getting a little bit down on this. And she turned around and said, well, I'm making good profit. I'm making good money. I'm doing the best I've ever done. And it was like, okay, so use some of that. Solve this current problem with that. You don't have the time and the energy in order to solve the problem of continue to grow your business through sales activity, etc. So what do? You use the resources that you do still have, or what you do have, which is money. So literally in the lunch break, she went out, she made a phone call, she made an expensive hire, a short-term contract, temporary contract with someone over the summer, threw some money at it. It was expensive, but she had the money, that's the resource she did have, and she solved that problem over a lunch break by using money rather than saying, I don't have the time and I don't have the energy. This is a business owner who has been around the block a few times, is a successful business owner, I would say, by anyone's standards. She's doing multiple hundreds of thousands in turnover. But even when, for her, when you're so locked into your business and you're potentially locked into the problem, you don't always see the obvious solution. We don't want to spend a lot of money solving something because we've still got that mindset, of wanting to hold on to our money. Nobody wants to go and spend thousands of pounds on things. We would rather keep that money either in the bank or, maybe even prefer we take it out and spend it. Do something fun, exciting with it. However, they're just resources and you have to allocate them and use them to continually solve the problems that are in the way, that present themselves as you continually grow your business. Does this make sense? When you start out, you don't have the money, so guess what? You can't solve your problems with money. Don't bitch about it, don't moan about it, but you have got time and energy, so guess what? Go out there and apply the time and apply the energy. I meet many business owners that, in my honest opinion, aren't working hard enough. They aren't working hard enough. If you apply yourself 20, 25 hours a week, for example, you might think you're doing more because you're sitting around doing other things, but let's say you're applying yourself 20, 25 hours per week. You're your own boss, so why shouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? However, 25 hours a week compared to the business owner doing 50 hours a week, it's going to take you twice as long to get there. Now, I can hear some people out there already saying, but if you're tired and if you're worn out, you're less productive. Yeah, I get that. I'm not saying you need to do necessarily 100 hours a week. I'm just saying you need to put in a good full week, okay? And you might want to put a bit extra in here and there when you need to. So if you're running your business and you are consistently delivering 50 hours a week in your business and you still don't have the money, but something comes up that you need to solve and you don't have the money, so you have to find the time. Well, guess what? If you're doing 50 hours a week, trust me, you still have time. All right, you're only working from like 9 till 6 or whatever it is to be delivering those 50 hours. You still have the weekend, you still have the mornings, and you still have the evenings. I know it might not be what you choose to do, but you still have that resource. So maybe instead of sitting in front of the TV at night, instead of just, going down the pub at night or whatever it is you do to waste some time, you apply that time in the business in order to solve the problems that take your business to the next level. Does this make sense? Okay? Same with energy. However, there will come a natural time where the time and the energy are starting to run thin, but the money, hopefully at that point, will start to be in a decent place. And you sometimes miss the obvious truth, which is instead of trying to find more time, more energy that doesn't exist, instead of capping out my business or burning myself out as the business owner, what I need to do is I need to throw some money at it. Money is an awesome solution to problems. Now, If you've never had great money in your business, it's hard because you're constantly trying to solve your problems and you're having to be super creative in solving your problems because you're trying to do it without the money. But trust me, when you can just pay someone to take that problem away, right, it can be a really quick solution. It can sometimes be an easy solution. Does this make sense? We were recently in Italy. We came back from Italy. We were on the way to the airport, literally to come home. A text came up and the airline basically sent me this little text that just said, your flight has been cancelled. You have 3 options. You can rebook, you can get your money back, or you can do something else. And we apologize for the inconvenience. That was it, one text, right? Okay. They also sent me an email as well. But I got the text, I'm in the cab, we're half an hour away from the airport. As far as we're concerned, 2.5 hours, we're getting on this plane and we're coming home. Now I'm thinking, right, there are 180 people or whatever it is on that same flight having the same problem. As it happened, there's 200 flights that got cancelled that day. So there are thousands of people who are on the way to their airport thinking they're going home that aren't going home. There'll be hundreds of them that are expecting to get, a flight that night, and everything in me saying, if we sit on this problem, right? If we sit on this problem, we are going to miss our opportunity. I had this once before when I was over in Crete, and we didn't jump fast enough, and literally the flight slipped away, and the nearest flight we could get to the flight we wanted to get home was like 10 days later. Now, as it turned out, we managed to resolve that a little bit better, but however, it was like 10. And in my head, I'm thinking, right, every second that we're not solving this problem, every second we're not moving this forward, we are getting bumped down that list, right? You know what I mean? And it might not be tomorrow we get home, it may not be the next day, and before you know it, who knows, maybe it's 10 days or something like last time. So what we did was in the cab there and then, Tracy was on the phone to somebody, I got her off the phone, she went on, I said, right, get us a hotel near the airport. So she went straight on, got us a hotel in Verona, went straight back to the hotel that we'd been at for one night as part of this road trip of Italy. It was quite an expensive hotel, it was an expensive room. She got on the phone, phoned them up, she had the hotel booked like in about 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I was on the phone, thank God for 4G and everything else. So I'm there heading towards Verona Airport and I'm booking an alternative flight with British Airways for the next day. And within about, 15 minutes, maybe some of that, maybe 20 minutes total, we had new flights, we had a new hotel, or, the old hotel, but booked a room for that night. We had redirected our cab to the hotel instead of the airport, and we could sigh a bit of relief, okay? The way we could do that was really, really simple. We threw money at it. It was that simple. If I was waiting to get my money back from one airline before I went and booked the next airline, if I had to go and beg money from someone else, or if I had to go and raise some capital from someone else, juggle my credit cards, whatever it might be, we would have never been able to do it in 15, 20 minutes. We would have slipped and slipped. It would be more and more stressful, and we potentially could have absolutely ended up in the shit. Does this make sense? We might have ended up on the streets that night, or even like probably some people did. In fact, some people definitely did, which is sleeping on their bags at the airport, okay? So in that situation, the bottom line was really simple. We solved that by being super quick, super efficient, but fundamentally we solved it by throwing money at it, okay? Money solved that problem. We didn't have to wait for the other money to come in. Right, pay for the new tickets, we'll sort the other money out later. Book the hotel, we'll sort it all out later. We went out that night, you spent another however much money by being there for another 24 hours, we'll sort it out later, okay? Money is a great solver of problems. In fact, one of the reasons I say to business owners that you want to get financially successful in your business is because so many of the problems that you face as a business owner can be solved with money. In fact, so many of the problems we face in life can be solved with money. Does this make sense? In fact, there's very little in life that cannot be improved, bettered, or cannot be resolved by spending money on it. Therefore, you want to make sure that you have an abundance of money, because if you have an abundance of money, you have an abundance of one of those 3 core those 3 core resources that doesn't run out. Does this make sense? So that you can spend money. Now, of course, this isn't about being frivolous. This isn't about just throwing your money around, blah, blah, blah. It's not about that. It's still about being really focused about where you spend your money and everything else. But it's understanding that money is a resource. It's a core resource in growing your business. And rather than holding on to it or holding it back or what it might be, it sometimes may be the best resource for solving a particular problem. The worst case scenario is when you're a business owner and you're tired and you're burnt out and you're working long hours and you haven't got the energy and you're not financially successful. Now you have no core resources. You only have a little bit of money, a little bit of time, a little bit of energy. If you find yourself in that spot, you must be super uber focused, like a laser beam on where do you put the time that you have. You want to make sure you don't waste anything. You've only got a little bit of money, a little bit of time, a little bit of energy. You've got to be so sparing with it, and you want to make sure that you put it in the things that are going to give you the biggest returns, and then you want to buy back some of that time and some of that energy. In fact, a lot of business owners will tell you this, initially you have to use your time and your energy in order to grow your business. You then make some money, you use the money to buy yourself time and energy back. So in other words, I talked about the business owner doing 25 hours a week, right? You probably have to do twice that at least at the beginning in order to get the momentum in your business that you want. It's not unheard of, right, for business owners to do 60, 70, 80, even 100 hours a week. When we were starting out, I was comfortably 60, maybe 70 hours a week in our business, maybe some more than that even on some occasions, okay? So we were working that 12-hour days consistently and weekends and everything else in order to get that momentum. But then you start making some money. With the money, you then invest that money into systems, into processes, into people. And then what that does is it gives you your time and your energy back. And then what you do is you reinvest that time and that energy into the next thing that's going to give you the biggest results. And then you get the money back and you reinvest the money in order to buy back your time and your energy. And then you reinvest your time and your energy. Does this make sense? This is how you keep that momentum going in your business. Typically, time and energy is what you need to invest in up front. Make some money, use the money, buy your time and energy back that you've lost by doing the 50, 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You can then come back to a more normal kind of working week because you reinvest that money. You then continue to use the gap again. So if you get back down to where you're only delivering, 30 hours a week, it's not about just sitting on a beach. You're not done yet, okay? You haven't achieved the result yet. You haven't crossed the finishing line yet. You don't sit on your ass and say, right, I'm now doing 30 hours a week. What do? You say, well, I was doing 60, 70, 80 hours a week. So from 30 hours a week, you could comfortably go back to 50 hours a week, reinvest those 20 hours into the next thing that gets you more of the financial returns, and then you buy your time back. Eventually, and it's not for me to say when, eventually say that'll do, right? And maybe you start to stabilize a work-life balance. I hate that term, oh my God. But that idea of work-life balance, and maybe you are only doing a 3-day week and you're still getting the money you want out of the business and everything else, okay? So I'm not saying when that should be, whether that's, 100 grand, 500 grand, or whether it's 10 million, but there may be a point in your business where you say, you know what? I don't need to continue with this kind of pace of growth and everything else. And at that point, if you've done everything right, that's when you get the back off in your business. That's when you get to live the dream. So the dream for you is working a few hours a day or a couple of days a week or splitting your time across countries and continents, whatever it might be. Understand that you're going to need to invest your time and your energy up front, then reinvest your money, and you have to repeat that cycle over and over again until eventually you are wherever it is you want to get to. And then instead of then putting that time back in, right? So now you're down to your 25 hours a week that you always want to do. But at that point then, instead of putting another 25 hours back in and reinvest in that, you sit on the 25 hours, the business then takes over and it does what it does, right? You've got everybody else's time, money and energy in the business. The business has its money and you have the time and the energy of the employees, etc. And you continue to run your business off of that. I want you to really understand this. The business owners that I've worked with, that I coach, that I mentor, the business owners that are in my masterminds who are either on the brink of living that dream or are already kind of stepping into that dream lifestyle where they have their business, the business is providing them with their income, their lifestyle, and they really have the dream, which is they're not working that hard anymore. Understand that they've gone through this repeated cycle over and over again. They flogged themselves time and energy at the beginning, reinvested the money, bought time and energy back, reinvested the time and energy they bought back into the next thing that took their business to the next level, made more money, took the money, reinvested. So they never sit there and just say, right, I'll work hard for 1 year and then sit on my ass. That's never going to work. I'm telling you now, your business is going to flop. What they do is they work really hard for a year, reinvest, continue to work really hard, but in new ways, reinvest, keep doing it. And then at some point, whenever enough is enough, whenever you've done what you needed to do, you stop and you say, right, this is where I'm happy to be. Maybe you've created enough momentum in the business that it continues to grow on its own and everything else. It doesn't need you in it or whatever it might be. But you only get to that point by continually investing the 3 core resources, time, money, and energy in the right way, with focus, with discipline, that gives you the best results at any point in time. Make sense? If you hold on to your cash, it's not working for you. If you hold on to your time and your energy, it's not working for you. If you're sitting there only doing 2 hours a week, the other 3 days, the other 5 days of the week, they're not working for you. So make sure that your time, your money, and your energy is working for you to get you where you want to get to as part of your end game. Time, money, energy are your 3 core resources. Use them wisely, use them sparingly, but also don't be tight, don't be stingy, don't hold on to those things. Keep reinvesting them, and that's how you're going to get extreme growth in your business. Okay, guys, if you are a business owner right now and you haven't yet quite hit 100K in turnover, don't forget I've got the 6-figure fast track webinar waiting for you, completely free of charge. I created this resource specifically with the 5-figure service-based business owner in mind, whether they're doing 20, 30, 40, even 50,000 in turnover, and to help them, to show them what they need to have in place in order to hit 100K or more in the next 12 months or less. In that webinar, we look at your mindset, your 6-figure mindset. We look at creating your 6-figure model for your business, and we look at your 6-figure methodology. In other words, the day-to-day activity that's going to take your business over that 100K revenue in the next 12 months. Completely free of charge. I've created it as a resource specifically with you in mind. So go and devour that. You'll find it on my website, www.biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk/fast track. biggerbrighterbolder.co.uk/fast track. I'll put the link in the description below as well. Go and devour that content. It's been designed to help you get your business onto your own fast track. Look forward to seeing you next time. And as always, until then, be successful.